friends, welcome back to the Psych Professor. My name is Sarah, and here we discuss all things psychology and how we can use them in our everyday life. So as the new year starts, if you're anything like me, I'm super motivated to make New Year's resolution, achieve my goals, but then in February, I've kind of fallen off the horse. And aren't we all tired of making New Year's resolution only to break them? Now, I'm a psychologist, and so I'm all about understanding the brain and behavior and how we can use that knowledge to our advantage. So this video is all about fooling our brain and hacking our behavior in order to reach our goals this year. Are you ready? Let's get started. So the number one thing that we need to do in order to reach our goals is to change our mindset. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck does a lot of research with children and college students about what it takes to succeed. And something that she discovered is that there are two types of individuals in this world. Individuals that have a growth mindset and individuals that have a fixed mindset. An individual with a fixed mindset believes that we're born with certain abilities and that if you're not born with a certain ability or skill, you're never going to get there. So someone with a fixed mindset might think that you're born with a certain amount of motivation or a certain amount of intelligence, and that if you're not born with a particular set from the get-go, then you're never going to improve. In contrast, someone with a growth mindset believes that yes, although we are born with natural ability, we can put effort and time in order to improve at any skill we want. Now, you would see why that would make such a big difference when it comes to achieving goals and being motivated to continue going after our goals. If you have a fixed mindset, you really don't believe that what you do is going to make a difference or is going to give you any improvement in whatever goal you want. So let's say that one of your New Year's resolution was to run a marathon. If you believe that you weren't born with a particular athletic ability, when things get hard, you're just going to be like, well, I just wasn't born a runner, and you're likely going to give up. On the other hand, if you have a growth mindset, then you're going to understand that although it might take some time and a lot of effort, you will be able to achieve your goal of running a marathon if you just put enough time. I think the problem is that a lot of people fail to think of our brain as a muscle, and it kind of is like a muscle. Tons of studies in neuroscience have shown that the brain, with practice and effort and time, can form new connections all across the lifespan. So it's not that we have a particular period of time in which we can change or the brain is flexible. Throughout our lifespan, even in adulthood, we have the ability to forge new skills because we know that the brain is plastic, so we can change it depending on the decisions we make, the habits we employ, and the activities we engage in. So with that being said, this year, you need to consider what type of mindset you have. Do you tend to think that you're just good at some things and bad at others, and that's just the way it is? Or are you someone that believes that you can improve with enough effort? And if you're someone with a fixed mindset, I would encourage you to try to see why you have that limiting belief, and then try to employ a growth mindset, reminding yourself that the brain has the ability to form new connections. It might take a lot of effort and habit, but if it's a goal worth pursuing, you can achieve it. The second step that we can take to achieve our goals is to fool your brain. Now, I say this all the time, that your brain is very, very effective, but extremely lazy, okay? The purpose of your brain is to keep you alive while using as little resources as possible. So no wonder when we make a resolution to go to the gym or study more or change our jobs, your brain's like, nah, brah, I'm good. We're comfortable. That's too much energy. Don't rock the boat. And the thing is, whenever we're making resolutions, we're rested, we're happy, we're with family, and maybe a tad bit of champagne. And so, yeah, the brain's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I feel good. I feel happy. And then when, the soccer practice starts and work starts, school starts, the laundry piles up, and your guilty pleasure, like the Real Housewives of New York, starts, a new season starts, your brain's like, why are we bothering to do that? Your goals then kind of take the back seat because it takes so much effort and energy to pursue goals and to change your behavior that if you're tired after work, or if you're tired of doing, house chores, whatever it might be, your brain's going to try to convince you that it's not worth your time. So, with that being said, it's important that we fool our brain by one, making small goals. So instead of saying, I'm gonna run a marathon in 2 months, you can say, I'm going to run, 3 miles every week. Because if you fool your brain into thinking that the activity you're about to engage in is not as effortful as, you might think, then it's less likely to kind of protest. So something I do, for example, is I say, okay, my goal is to, exercise every week. But I don't start with that goal because I know my brain's gonna really throw a tantrum if I were to tell it that. So instead I say, okay, every day I'm going to take 10 minutes and do, 20 squats. Or every day I'm going to go walk for 10 minutes. And what happens is that your brain is not going to prevent you from starting, and you actually end up going longer, because we know that when we start exercising, the endorphins get released, the feel-good chemicals get released, and we start enjoying ourselves. So make small, achievable goals, and you can build up from there. And then the second thing in order to fool your brain is by rewarding yourself whenever you achieve that small goal. What we have to understand is that the brain is really good at forming associations. So we like the cake and we like the fast food because when we eat it, we feel good, right? The sugar, gives us energy and it kind of satiates some part of our body. So if we aren't pairing good positive things with our goals, then your brain's less likely gonna want to do it because there's no reward at the end. Okay, it's not getting anything in return. So something I do, for example, is okay, I need to prepare my lecture in advance so that I have enough time to edit it and have enough time to think of cool activities to use with my students for a particular topic. And whenever I do that, I do my lecture at least 2 days in advance. I say I can watch 2 YouTube videos afterwards. So my brain starts associating making a lecture within the payoff of a YouTube video. Now you can pair anything you want, but as long as you start making that strong association between your goal and something positive that happens, you'll start seeing rewards. The third thing we need to do is to reconsider our motivations for pursuing particular goals this year. So we know that emotion is a big motivator for behavior. And a lot of the times we don't stick to our goals just because we don't have a strong enough why as to why we're pursuing those goals. So going back to the fitness, goal, there was a while where I would want to be fit just to look good. And honestly, that wasn't a strong motivation for me. So I started considering, okay, why would I actually want to be fit? And then I started considering the fact that I would want a family in the future, I would want to have kids. And in order for me to provide for them the best life possible, I believed it to be important for me to be healthy, eat healthy foods so that whenever I'm pregnant, I'm feeding my kids healthy things that help them grow in my belly. I wanted to be strong so that I had energy to play with my kids. So that, because I have an emotion tied to being a good mom and being there for my kids, was a stronger motivator for me to work out and make healthy choices. Because whenever I didn't want to, eat something healthy, instead of me being like, well, you're not gonna look in a bikini, I was like, well, whatever, I'll wear a one piece. There was no alternative. I was like, okay, well, if I make this choice now, I'm investing in my future family. And that to me was a strong motivator. So really examine your why and attach a positive emotion to a goal so that you're more likely to pursue it. And then the last step that will really help you achieve your goals is to write down your goals every day and remind yourself why it is you want these goals. So I made an entire video about manifestation and how people say that when you imagine yourself, achieving a particular goal or making a vision board, that, you're more likely to get it. And although people have different explanations for it, it does work. Like I said, I have a whole video about the science behind manifestation, so I'll link this up here in case you're interested. But yeah, when you write down the goals that you want to achieve every day, you are shifting your attention every day to those goals so that you remind yourself that that's who you want to become, and so that you're reminding your brain what to be on the lookout for in order for you to achieve those goals. So writing it down is a great way to, begin improving your goals. Now, I never share anything with you that I haven't tried myself. So this past year, 2020, was actually the first time that I stuck to my goals in the long term, because I started employing all of these 4 different things. They're based in, science and what psychologists have found work in order to reach goals. And so they were helpful for me. I think they would be helpful for you. So friends, let's employ all of these 4 easy steps. And although it's going to take some effort and some time, our goals deserve it. If you liked this video, I would love it if you shared it with your friends or subscribed, because after all, knowledge is power. And remember that you are beautiful, capable, and so loved. See you next time.